In 2007 May, the number of unemployed people in US economy was 6.8 million, and in 2009 October, that number rose up to 15.4 million. Can you believe that? Why did this happen? Because the economy was not producing the amount of goods and services they used to produce. They are not producing enough goods and services. But why? Did the machines the economy used to have disappear? Did have the laborers been killed? Or I mean, the laborers die? Or the technology the economy used to be master of, you know uh, did they forget all the technological knowledge? What happened really? Let me tell you what. None of these things happened to the economy, but the main reason is something else. Many economists explained in many ways, but Keynes came up with his own idea. Keynes said, how many goods and services you produce in an economy, that doesn't really depend upon how many machines you have, how many laborers you have, what level of technology you are dealing with. Really, that doesn't depend on those things, how many goods and services you are producing. Because let's say you are having five machines, five laborers, a certain decent level of technology as well. But no, you let me say you are capable of producing 50 units. But why will you produce 50 units if the demand is not there? So the main thing is how many goods and services will be produced in an economy, that depends upon the aggregate demand. How much the economy is demanding, that's the amount the producers will be producing in the economy. I'm sweating as hell. I was just So it's the aggregate demand. Aggregate demand decides how many goods and services in an economy is produced really. If the aggregate demand is higher, then the higher goods and services will be produced, and higher number of people will be employed. As simple as that. But at that time, the aggregate demand was really low. That's what Keynes argued, that aggregate demand was low. That's why people are not farms were not producing. So laborers were being laid off. They were losing jobs. That's the reason. And in particular, Keynes said you can increase the level of production by increasing machines, increasing the number of laborers or efficiency of laborers, or the level of technology. All those things you can just with the help of those things you can increase the level of number of goods and services you can produce in an economy. You can increase that amount with all those things. But in the short run, in the short run, what happens if you wish to increase your the amount of goods and services you produce in an economy? The only way is to increase the level of employment. You can just employ more people, just to if you want to increase the level of production. That's all. That means how many people will be employed in an economy really depends upon the level of production. If the level of production is greater, then the greater number of people will be employed. As simple as that. So why will the producers be producing if there is no demand? So the demand is the main thing. As demand was going down, people were not producing. So many people were being laid off, fired from their jobs. And Keynes point out that it was the investment demand that was really low at that time. He gave an equation of aggregate demand. He said in a four-sector economy, AD is equal to C plus I plus Z plus Xn. So according to him, in those situations, the I component goes down really. I component really, goes down. People really don't want to produce because they think demand is not there. Why will we should we be producing? And he suggested, if the I is going down, then why don't we increase the Z, the component Z, to level up the aggregate demand? The Z is the government expenditure. So he recommended some policies, some let's say fiscal policy, monetary policy, all those policies for the government. He really, said that government should step in to stabilize the economy. That's that's the only way to stabilize the economy. We'll be talking about that in detail we'll be talking about the Keynesian cross and everything. But that's all for today. And with a whiteboard, I will be explaining each and every, everything about what the Keynes idea, Keynes perspective. Till then, goodbye.